Hello, my name is Aljosa Dekleva from Dekleva Gregoric Architects. This is a story of a chimney house where we followed two important points to build for life with this architectural project. So first one is a specific lifestyle of the user, a couple, and the second one is the specific context of the place where the house was built. So we are a small studio based in Ljubljana, Slovenia, which is positioned on the crossroads of Europe between East and West, North and South. Through history, we're part of many diverse cultural political contexts, Roman Empire, Venetian Republic, Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Yugoslavia, to be nowadays a small country of Slovenia. So our cultural milieu equals to 5 hours drive or 1 day trip that you can see here on the map, where we can reach from Florence to Split. Although our territory is very small, Slovenia is a very diverse country. So here we are located on the transition from Alpine world to the Mediterranean world, with local hillsides that are rich in woods, where they're hosting small settlements along the roads, villages with brick houses and wooden barns. So coming here, we have looked at the traditional building culture of a barn, typologically as well as materially. And we have combined this with a specific user's needs. So here you see Andrei and his wife Emma, who devote their weekends to cook for their friends on a traditional fire stove, which became the heart and the central object of the house. So we took the chimney as an element of typological transformation of a barn into a specific house. So the house on one side defines the edge of this village, which is material reference to traditional building types. But on the other side also establishes a new relationship to another specific element of the local context. And this is this 16th century church, typically dominating the surrounding space, and it's also a typological transformation on its own of a traditional shape of a generic house. So the gable roof volume was implemented with a bell tower as a symbolical and functional element of communication. So this is how the two objects relate to each other, although they are very different. Uh, Organization of the floor plan, it is based on pushing all the cabinets and programs on the edge of the perimeter of the house, which creates this kind of a monomaterial, very defined object cladded with wood, but also allows or requires very careful perforation and a curatorial approach to how to position the windows. So the topic of the thick wall, but the thick perimeter wall, it's quite important to address both in terms of volume and material. So a material outside, it is very carefully detailed to be a mono-material volume from the ground to the very top of the roof, but the same principle we follow also from the inside. So the perforations or the windows are relatively small because the houses are shelters for human beings between environment. But the windows in this thick wall have to be shaped in such a way that they allow the views, although they kind of require certain small openings for protection. But on the other hand side, the perforations are also very important to allow this life going on the inside, but also being connected to the outside. So the outside space, the nature kind of travels through the house and kind of connects these two entities in a crossroads in this specific point of the house. So speaking about this material cladding or materialization of a building, it is important to stress on one side this kind of contextual reference of the outside of the wooden cladding, but also inside the wood is very important material to cater the tactility of human beings. We like to touch things. We touch things. We experience architecture by touching, where the wood is placed everywhere where we are able to kind of interact with our materials that embody our spaces. But at the same time, the thick wall also allows for the opportunity of these niches, which become inhabitable spaces on their own. You can crawl inside and challenge your body ergonomically in order to have a complete different experience of your interior space. So that's how the interior kind of opens up the space for the main central object, which is the traditional fire stove, very high-tech nowadays object, but also the chimney, which kind of protrudes and opens up the roof of the slit that allows for this longitudinal window that brings a flood of light into your living space. So the same experience you also have on in the bedroom, where you have and experience the same section of the roof where the slit on the ridge allows you to see the stars during the night and be connected with the nature this way, although you are protected from the nature with the house. So the tactility plays quite an important role, and the material narrative in that sense as well, where you see the wood coming up to touch the roof structure, which is obviously out of concrete because the roof is a big truss that kind of spans this longitudinal span and allowing this slit in the top. So where the wood material kind of touches the concrete, it actually refers to the same texture because we used the wooden cladding for formwork that it's kind of imprinted in the concrete, and in this way it kind of unifies the texture of wood throughout your interior envelope to reach up to the sky and see this part of important nature through that slit on your way up. So at the end, what we do with our project, and this specific project, is we kind of challenge the obvious of what the house is and how it should perform, but we also try to act beyond the standard in order to create something specific for human beings and building for life of those human beings. Thank you very much.